Small out me also just one cat here. Hello? What
Allow them to show themselves.
This way. Come this way. This way.
Very long business from the Royal Majesty.
Let me stand up. How are you?
Very good. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes.
Thank you.
Don't worry. I'm not. Not at all. I'm not. God bless you. Take care. All right.
Today is 18th of July 2025, and honestly speaking, every Biafran all over the world is waiting for today. And today is going to be a great day in Biafran land, because we are actually optimistic that freedom will definitely come to the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, who has been undergoing all kind of court trial in the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom, Nigeria, in something that he didn't commit, in a crime that he was accused of committing. And we all know, and the world knows, that Nnamdi Kanu did not commit such crime, despite different judges handling the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Today, finally, the zoo government will be giving its final decision, final verdict, and final judgment, over the case. And as you can see, a lot of things are already happening in court. But before we go into the full details of court, the court hearing in full, because as I'm talking to you, Nnamdi Kanu has actually arrived, and we have a very strong heavy military or DSS or heavy security, as the case may be, in the court premises, as the case may be. In the case of Nnamdi Kanu, we've seen all kind of illegality that has been happening in the case, but yet the world has been silent. But one thing I can assure you today is that the world is watching, whether you believe it or not. But at the end, victory will come to Nnamdi Kanu, as he is seeking for his freedom. I gave you a good news yesterday about the 24 IPOB members that were actually released after 4 years of illegality. But finally, they were released yesterday, and we are hoping to see the same for Nnamdi Kanu. But before we go into fully detail of today's court hearing, please watch this and make sure you share.
Full details of Nnamdi Kanu's court appearance today, 13th June 2025. Hear the news in details. Wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, you are welcome once again to Biafra Unite channel /television this very moment. Today's date is 13th of June 2025, and of course I want to go through today's court proceedings of Nnamdi Kanu at the Federal High Court, Abuja, where Justice James Omotosho, the presiding judge. So, of course, you all know that we were live this very morning, stroke afternoon. We were live talking about or giving the information and, of course, the update concerning our Prime Minister's court proceeding today in Finland. So, not knowing that our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, was also in court. And do you know why? Because they have succeeded in putting everybody in dark. Remember that the judge has been warning both Barrister Aloy Ejimako and every other person, including the wife of Nnamdi Kanu's younger brother, who was equally suspended from attending court proceedings. They even threatened Barrister Aloy Ejimako that if he continues to discuss about this case on social media or making things public, he's going to be suspended as well. So, it is quite unfortunate that nobody knew that Nnamdi Kanu was going to appear in court today. The date that we were waiting for was on the 16th, which was, the previously adjourned date, not 13th. So, but as we all can see, it really happened today. So, without further ado, let us go through today's court proceedings. So, as you can see on your screen, I will be reading from the transcription of today's court proceedings of Nnamdi Kanu. I was not there, but the transcription is actually, breakdown of the court proceedings today. Everything that happened, the way it happened, bit by bit, will be read out during the course of this very broadcast. So just pay attention while I take you through them. Now, just in, court adjourns the trial of Nnamdi Kanu to 16th, 18th and 19th of June 2025, in line with the outlined dates for continued hearing. Below is the summary of today's court. Both defending and prosecuting counsels have their routine introductions after the mentioning of the matter by the court official. Witness PW4 DDD has moved to the witness box and introduced himself as a DSS agent once again. Preliminary examination of witness commences. Prosecution counsel, do you know who Nnamdi Kanu is? Of course, you all know who is prosecution counsel, the so-called son, Awomolo. So he's the one now questioning his own witness in the court. The witness, yes, he is IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, who has been calling for the breakup and cessation of Southeast from Nigeria. Point of order. That is never a crime. It's never a crime. The Southeast Nigeria, as they call it, is owned by the people. There are inhabitants. There are people that inhabit the land, the owners of the lands of their ancestors. So they have the right to decide where they want to belong. It is their inalienable right to decide where they want to belong. You must not force them to be under a particular union. It is within their right. So let's continue. Prosecution counsel, how can you describe him? Imagine, how can you describe him? Witness, he is a terrorist. You see? Prosecution Awomolo is asking his own witness, how can you describe Nnamdi Kanu? Then the so-called witness, Triple D, said he's a terrorist. So what they expect is that your own evidence? Is that your own evidence? Is that your witness that you brought said that the man, or should I say the defendant, is a terrorist, and then you have won? Prosecuting counsel, how did you get to know him? Witness, I knew him when he was arrested in Lagos and he incites people through Radio Biafra. Wow. Prosecuting counsel, where did he keep the transmitter used in airing Radio Biafra? Witness, Nnamdi Kanu kept it in one Benjamin Madubugu's house at Ubulisi Uzo. Prosecuting counsel, who was assigned to carry out the transmitter search. Witness, I was to carry out the search, locate the transmitter, and retrieve it. The prosecuting counsel moved towards the witness box and shows the masked witness the search warrant for the transmitter. Then prosecuting counsel, in whose name was the search warrant issued. Witness, in the presence of Madubugu at his house in Ubulisi-Uzo. Let me use this opportunity to say, don't be surprised if they bring Benjamin Madubugu to witness against Nnamdi Kanu. Don't be surprised. Don't be shocked. I'm saying it today. It has not happened, but don't be shocked. Don't forget that Mazi Simon Ekpa, who is another freedom fighter, another leader in the struggle in Finland, was also in the court on 11th of June. And we all saw members of DOS testifying against him. So don't be shocked. Do not be surprised. Do not develop goosebumps if you see Benjamin Madubugu tomorrow testifying against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. I'm telling you. Now, NB, the presiding judge has raised eyebrow on live reports and transcription of court proceedings. In other words, he doesn't want further reports and prefers secret trials, but we must continue. Did you get that? Wow. This is deep. This is deep. My people, this is deep. Do not trust the zoo. This is deep. At the end of this very broadcast, or towards the end of it, I'm going to point out 3 different things to you, which are going to take home. Those 3 things that I'm going to point out, I would want you to reason with them, digest it, calculate it, reason with it, and then you will begin to see this whole drama in a different shape. I'm not going to over-exaggerate it. I'm not going to hype it. I'm not going to over-talk it. But I will point out 3 different things for you to go home with and reason. Now, let's continue. Prosecution. What are the contents of the container you found at Benjamin Madubugu's house? Witness. 2 pump-action guns, live bullets, 2 pistols, and cartridges. We ordered Benjamin Madubugu to open the transmitter, and when he did, we only saw household items. Okay, they saw household items. Remember, this is an evidence already on its own. This word now, you know why? Because the only thing that attached the name of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Benjamin Madubugu's house is the transmitter. You understand? All those pump action, cartridges, and the ammunitions and all that has nothing to do with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So the only thing that attaches Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's name is the transmitter. And now they have said here, according to the so-called witness Triple D, he said, we ordered Benjamin Madubugu to open the transmitter. And when he did open it, we only saw household items. So the only thing that was seen in the transmitter is the household items, which is not, offensive or incriminating. You understand? So let's continue. Prosecution. Is what you're holding in your hand now the same video that was handed over to you for the transmitter investigation? Then witness, yes, it is. The video evidence has been tendered by the prosecuting counsel, and presiding judge marked it as an exhibit. Prosecution. What were the contents of the materials found during the raid of Benjamin Madubugu's house? Witness. 2 pump actions was found in the container. Chimezie moved household stuff. Chimezie, of course, you all know Chimezie, the other one. I was asked to keep the container. MNK and Chimezie came and inspected the container. Prosecution. In your 25 years of work in the Southeast, how would you describe the atmosphere of the Southeast? Witness. Life has been made difficult due to IPOB activities, IPOB committing terrorist acts. You see? Onye na-asa kusiama nke ana ajụrụ yourself. Ọ na-asịa siama nke ana ajụrụ ya. Iji gosi, that's to show you not ife alụrụ alụ. Ife dị na-abịa ife akpara akpa. These are all staged. Ọ na-asa ka ana ajụrụ ya. because he is under pressure to deliver. He's under immense pressure to deliver. That's why he answers both the ones that he was not even asked. Now, prosecution. Are all members of IPOB ESN 2? Listen. Are all members of IPOB ESN 2? Is it every member of IPOB is equally a member of the Eastern Security Network 2? Let us see the witness. The witness, yes, they enforce Mazi Nnamdi Kanu instructions. They attack security agents, especially Hausa Fulani. You see, first of all, the question shouldn't have even come in the first place. But the question is all IPOB members of ESN? Then he said yes. They first of all, he said yes, which is false. This is complete arrant nonsense. How can all IPOB members be members of ESN too? IPOB are all Biafrans. We are in legion, not just in millions, but we are in legion. So how can you say all IPOB are ESN? I don't understand. Now he went on to say, even though he was not asked, he said they enforce Mazi Nnamdi Kanu instructions. They attack security agents, especially Hausa Fulani. Baseless allegations. He said everyone is laughing in court. You see, everyone is laughing in court because of his stupidity. How can you say all IPOB are members of ESN? This person has not even worked as a DSS member or official, not to talk of working in the Southeast. I am telling you, based on what he's saying, he knows absolutely nothing about Southeast. Now, examination of witness PW4DDD continues. Prosecution, examination by his boss, the man who brought him, not examination of the witness by the defense counsel. Now, prosecution, how do you identify ESN? Witness, they move in large groups. ESN engage in more of a guerrilla warfare. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gives instructions through Radio Biafra, especially on Biafra Day, May 30th, for them to attack especially government agencies. Our facility listens to all Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's broadcasts. It did not end there. Prosecution applies to play the broadcast of May 29th. MNK broadcast being played has just ended. After being played, prosecutor decided to discontinue the first broadcast. Prosecutor himself decided to discontinue the first broadcast. Do you know why he discontinued it? I will tell you. Now, review of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast, where he boldly said, no business person, no mosque, no churches should be touched. That is the anger of the prosecution, because you see the way God works. You see the way God works. He never knew, they are in a hurry. They are in a hurry. They never knew that in that same broadcast they brought to court, there's a place where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said that no business person, no mosque, no churches should be touched. Allow them to be. Don't touch them. Including banks, schools. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has always said this on his live, broadcast. Don't touch banks. Don't touch schools. Don't touch business persons. Don't touch anybody. He always said this. Now, witness narrated that Gulag was unalive on Monday. Another lie. Suffice to say that May 30th, 2021 was on a Sunday and not Monday, as claimed by the witness. You see, you remember I played that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's May 30th live broadcast in 2021. I played it here just a couple of weeks or months ago, not even up to 2 months, like last month. I played it in full. Yes, and Obanje Weba. Now, prosecution, is sit at home still ongoing? And witness said, yes, my lord. Prosecution, who is the consul Osu Obefanaro? Witness, he is one of the feared ESM members. On April 5th, Ikonso led an attack on the Imo State Correctional Center. Imagine. Just like that. So you already know. So you know who attacked Imo State Correctional Center. Like, seriously. Seriously? And you are just mentioning it today. Mad people everywhere. So you are just mentioning it today. Unbelievable. Now let's continue. The prosecutor has decided to discontinue the first broadcast. In that same first broadcast, Nnamdi Kanu was heard saying, "No business person, mosque or churches should be touched." Second broadcast of the defendant, Nnamdi Kanu, being played in the court. MNK cried, prayed for him, and questioned why he was unalived at home. That is Ikonso. Now, Ikonso was not unalived on a battlefield or shot out, but in his house while he was resting. Enugu State Governor chased out by Fulani herdsmen, and it was never reported. We will mourn Ikonso as the Oba. MNK stated during the broadcast, Hope Uzodinma approached Ikonso to manage Ebubagun, and because he refused, he was unalived at his home, which is the same thing Hope Uzodinma called Commander Gentle the Yahoo. Hope Uzodinma had series of meetings with him and other top commanders to jettison Biafra liberation or struggle and come and join him to run Ebubatono for him. And since then, Hope Uzodinma followed to Tiata Noi, where says, since you refuse to listen to me, since you refuse to take my offer, I will deal with you. That is the reason why Hope Uzodinma is currently bombarding Okigwe. Every blessed day and night, Okigwe is under attack. Every day. Because the men on ground dealt with them, that's why they have resulted in unaliving innocent children in that very area. Now, that broadcast on 28th of April 2021 being rolled in to be aired. Update. According to Zoma, aka Onyami's statement, a probable witness interrogated by the DSS and compelled to testify against the IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, he claimed that MNK directed him to unalive 2,000 people, but he only unalived 30. Now, this Onyami, I hope I will see his picture. I will try as much as I can to search for his picture and show you this Onyami we are talking about. I will show you this Onyami at the very end of this broadcast. You are going to see this Onyami, the person who claimed that Nnamdi Kanu sent him to unalive 2,000 people and he managed to unalive 30. You are not even ashamed of yourself for saying that you unalive 30. Imagine. Stay tuned, I will show you that Onyami. Now, the prosecution has ended the reading of the witness and the court has taken an hour break to reconvene soonest. Moments after the elapse of the break duration for local standee, the court reconvened, but this time stopped court proceedings. The matter has been adjourned to 16th, 18th, and 19th of June 2025 as assigned, yes, as assigned in the last court sitting. Remember, I've been hammering that our leader's next court appearance is on 16th and is supposed to carry on to 18th and 19th. You remember that? As assigned in the last court sitting. So only reason best known to the judge that made them call for this case today and made it a secret trial. Only the reason best known to the judge. Now let me finish and then I'll talk. Which means there are outstanding 3 court dates slated for continuation of trial. We shall reconvene on the 16th of June 2025. Now, my people, I cannot authoritatively tell the reason why all this brouhaha is happening now. I can't tell. I want to say something, 3 things here. The arrest of Mazi Simon Eba, number 1. The so-called accelerated trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and the reason all the machineries and machine guns of the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom Nigeria are currently in Biafra land to crush Biafra Liberation Army. Those who may rise up to say we do not accept this. Biafrans, are you paying attention? And those who are supposed to talk, who are hanging their coats on top of the mountains, on top of the trees, are silent. Biafrans, are you paying attention? These are 3 things I want you to go home with. Now let me show you that Onyami that they claimed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu asked to unalive 2,000 people, and he said he has already managed to unalive 30 people. Let me show you. A military officer, a soldier is the one they are talking about. A military officer. I am innocent. I have no case to answer. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu tells Justice James Omotosho at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Hear the news in details. Wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom all over the world, you are welcome once again to Biafra Unite channel /television this very moment. Today's date is 28th of June 2025, and I have a very important information for every one of you listening to my voice right now from wherever you are all over the world. Biafrans and lovers of freedom, I want you to pay very good attention to this very news, because it's very, very important. I can assure you, my people. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has told Justice James Omotosho at the Federal High Court in Abuja, including the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom Nigerian government and the public, that he is innocent. He has equally declared himself innocent and said that he has no any single case to answer, irrespective of the allegations of terrorism and treasonable felony leveled against him by the federal government of the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom Nigeria. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has denied them all. Now, let us read this very news in details. As you can see on your screen, I will be reading from the Vanguard news platform of the Zoo Nigeria. And according to that title, they said, alleged terrorism. I have no case to answer, Kanu tells court. Abuja. The detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Nkafaneti proscribed today. Vanguard, or the Kafecha Aligo. Let's take that again. The detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who is facing a 7-count terrorism and treasonable felony charge, yesterday told the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja that he has no case to answer. Kanu took the position shortly after the federal government, which is prosecuting him, announced its decision to close its case. Federal government wrapped up its case after the 5th prosecution witness, PW5, concluded his testimony and was discharged by the court. The witness, whose name was shielded, was simply identified as Triple E before he gave his testimony behind a protective screen. Upon the conclusion of his cross-examination by a member of Kanu's legal team, Dr. Onyechi Ikpeazu-San, Federal Government Counsel Chief Agboyega Awomolo-San informed the court that he would no longer produce any witness to testify in the matter. Awomolo-San said the prosecution team was satisfied that from the avalanche of evidence tendered through the 5 witnesses, the government had effectively established the charge against the defendant. I will therefore, at this juncture, close the case of the prosecution, the senior lawyer added. Okay, now, through the avalanche of evidence, imagine, with all the shame that they have provided, all the shame that these people provided since they have been running up and down on this case, yet they provided nothing but shame against themselves. Even when their so-called witnesses were stammering, all the questions thrown at them were not answered. None of them. The only answer they were giving is, I don't know. From beginning to the end, I don't know. The only thing they know is that Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist. That is the only thing, the only answer they know. Nnamdi Kanu made a broadcast. He incited people. That is the only thing they know. He's a terrorist. That's all. No evidence whatsoever. They even went ahead to bring evidence from Vanguard publication, that one Onyami said, Nnamdi Kanu asked him to go and unalive 2,000 people, and he managed to unalive 30. That is the evidence from Vanguard. Zoo Media. Mad people everywhere. Very, very useless and shameless in idiots. Now, they continued with their madness. Following the announcement, the head of Kanu's defense team, Chief Kanu Agabi-san, notified the court about his client's decision to enter a no-case submission in the matter. A no-case submission is made when a defendant is convinced. Pay attention, this is the explanation of that no-case answer or no-case submission. Now, a no-case submission is made when a defendant is convinced that the totality of evidence that was adduced by the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case that is capable of warranting the court to compel him to enter his defense to the charge. Should the application succeed, the defendant will be discharged by the court, thus making an end to the trial. Let me calm down. Let me take this again for avoidance of doubt. For avoidance of doubt. It said here, pay attention. Should the application succeed, you remember that same yesterday, the judge, after Nnamdi Kanu's lead counsel, Kanu Agabi-san, told the judge that Nnamdi Kanu has said he has no case to answer. After that very word was spoken, the judge told the defense counsel to put it on a written note for avoidance of doubt. Makandi say, I am not aware. You understand? So, should the application succeed, the defendant will be discharged by the court, thus making an end to the trial. Of course, we all know that Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer. Oh yes, you can say he formed Eastern Security Network. What is the name? Eastern Security Network. Eastern part, security. When has forming a security network become a crime? When has forming a security outlet or outfit become a crime in the world? Or would the judge, if judge does not end the case, or if the application does not succeed, would Justice James Omotosho, with all due respect, prefer what is happening in Benue State, in some part of Kogi, in Kwara State, in Yobe State, in Zamfara State, in Kaduna State, in Borno State, in Katsina State, and other parts of the northern Nigeria happen here in the east? I'm asking, would James Omotosho, the judge, Justice James Omotosho, would he prefer that what is going on in Benue State today, at least over 200 people were massacred by the Fulani herdsmen terrorists, the fourth deadliest terror group in the world? Would James Omotosho prefer such inhumanity to take place in the eastern part of Nigeria for now? So, of course, nobody's talking about Nnamdi Kanu talking about Biafra or saying Biafra must, leave Nigeria, because that has never been a crime in the world. It's his own opinion. That is his own opinion. So if he has a lot of followers and supporters, then let the Nigerian government give him referendum. It is the normal way. You can't force me to be with you. It is within his inalienable right to protect his own people if they give him the mandate. And they gave him the mandate. That's why when he made the call, the youths came out en masse to form the ESN. So it is within his inalienable right to protect himself. Are you paying attention? So you cannot say, you don't have right. No, we cannot fold our arms and see Fulani massacring our people and taking over our land, just as is happening in Benue State. Benue is just our neighbor. Even it's happening here already. In Enugu State, you can see what is happening in Ehamufu. So you can't stop us. You can't stop us from defending ourselves and our land. Oh yes. So I'm sure that Justice James Omotosho will do the needful. He has to do the needful. Oh yes, he has to do it. Because Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer. In reality, he has no single case to answer. That is the truth. Now, given Kanu's decision, Trial Justice James Omotosho gave his legal team and federal government 14 days each to file written addresses and 2 days to file their reply on point of view. The case was subsequently adjourned till July 18 for adoption of the no-case submission. Earlier in the proceeding, federal government through the PW5 tendered in evidence a report it said linked the embattled IPOB leader to the unaliving of 186 police officers as well as the destruction of 164 police stations during the NSAS protest that took place in 2020. You see, this is to show that they have no evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. NSAS protest, that the entire zoo youth, participated. The youths of the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom participated on that very NSAS protest, including the Northerners. I could remember during that NSAS protest, they chased Buhari. Even in Katsina, in Sokoto, they chased Buhari. They were even throwing stones to his helicopter in Kanu. I think that happened in Kanu State. Oh yes, they chased him. Is that Nnamdi Kanu's doing? The answer is no. So NSAS protest was a national, tragedy. A national tragedy. And what made it national tragedy? The only thing that made it a national tragedy was because the Nigerian army and police started shooting live ammunitions, started shooting innocent citizens who were protesting against the brutality of a certain police unit called SAS. You understand? So the entire youth came out and said, we must end it. They started protesting. Along the line, Nigerian army and police started shooting them with live ammunition, unaliving many of them. You are talking about how many people, how many police officers were unalive. You are not even talking about the Lekki massacre. Nobody is talking about the Lekki massacre. Can you imagine that the innocent citizens of Nigeria carrying placards and Nigerian flag, singing Nigerian national anthem, and Nigerian soldiers have the liver, have the guts, have the balls to open fire on an innocent protesters that gathered en masse at Lekki Toll Gate, Lagos State. Nigerian military, Nigerian soldiers have the morale to open fire on an innocent citizens who were carrying Nigerian flag, singing Nigerian national anthem, protesting against the SAS brutality. They opened fire on them, killing hundreds of them, if not thousands. Nobody is talking about it. None of those soldiers have been arrested till today. They are unknown soldiers. None of the policemen have been arrested till today. They are unknown police officers. And here you are, tagging the case on Nnamdi Kanu. Is that not a foolishness? Is that not a stupidity? Is that not a stupid movement? Unbelievable. No wonder Nnamdi Kanu has told them that he has no case to answer. Now they continued. The witness, who is an operative of the Department of State Services, DSS, told the court that he was part of a team that was deployed to gather intelligence and compile reports on the impact of violence that trailed the protest. He told the court that he got to know Kanu through the media, though they never met in person. He told the court that his mandate was to record all the destructions of public properties and deaths of security operatives that occurred as a result of Kanu's radio broadcast. You see? You see now? He said that his mandate was to record all the destructions of public properties and deaths of security operatives. Oh, death of security operatives. So who has the mandate to record the death of innocent citizens of Nigeria that were massacred by the so-called security operatives? Who has the mandate to record it? Because this mandate, as the mandate of recording the destruction of public properties and the death of security operatives was given to a security operative, a DSS officer, that means another security officer, a DSS officer, should equally be given mandate to record the death of innocent citizens of Nigeria that were massacred by the same security operatives that are supposed to protect them during the protest. So we want to see who has the mandate to record the massacre of innocent citizens. Oh yes, we need it. because you cannot sideline that. They were human beings. They were human beings, and they were citizens of Nigeria. So you cannot, sweep it under the carpet. And here you are talking about security operatives. Who even massacre security operatives who can massacre security operatives? Who? When they have the arms, they have ammunition. Mad people everywhere. Among the items he tendered, which were admitted in evidence by the court, included a damage assessment report, death certificate of some security officers, as well as a certificate of compliance. Kanu's lawyer challenged the admissibility of the exhibit, saying he would adduce his reaction in the defendant's final written address. It will be recalled that Kanu was arrested on October 14, 2015. That was arrest. Yes, I know. Upon his return to the country from the United Kingdom, that was arrest. Now let us see if they talk about his kidnap as well. Following his arraignment in court on April 25, 2017, granted him bail on health grounds after he had spent about 18 months in detention. Upon the perfection of the bail conditions, he was on April 28, 2017 released from the Kuje prison. However, midway into the trial, the IPOB leader escaped from the country after soldiers invaded his country home at Afaruku Ibegu in Umuahia, Abia State, an operation that led to the death of some of his followers. Oh, Vanguard. Okay. No matter the hatred you have on the Igbo people, no matter how you hate Nnamdi Kanu, it is good to speak the truth, no matter how bitter that truth could be. It is true to say it. So Vanguard, you have stated it. It is very clear. Since they know how to bring Vanguard publication as an evidence against Nnamdi Kanu, where they say one Ozoma said that Nnamdi Kanu told him to unalive 2,000 people, and he managed to unalive 30 people. They brought it as an evidence. They should also take this one. I'm telling the prosecution, because we know the truth already. Nnamdi Kanu knows the truth. The defense counsel knows the truth. The judge knows the truth. So the prosecution counsel, the prosecution team that knows how to bring Vanguard publication as an evidence should also take this one. That Vanguard has published that many of his followers were massacred. And Vanguard also said his country home in Afaruku Ibegu was, invaded by the soldiers. So they must understand this. This is the truth now. We are talking the truth. Now, Kanu was later rearrested. No, not rearrested. Kidnapped. That was never arrest. There was no any evidence of arrest because he did not undergo any extradition, hearing or proceedings in Kenya. There was nothing like that. So it was a pure kidnap. In Kenya, on June 19, 2021, an extraordinarily rendition back to the country by security agents on June 27, 2021. Oh, extraordinarily renditioned. It's no longer extra. This is the very first time Vanguard is using the right word, even though they said he will be arrested because they cannot say kidnapped, because it's a shame for a national newspaper to say that its own government, committed an act of kidnap. So it's a big shame. It's an embarrassment, right? So I understand, but at least they have said he was extraordinarily renditioned, which is an international crime. So Nigeria has to answer these things. You understand? So now we also remember that yesterday, 19th of June, was complete 4 years. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped and beaten to stupor in Kenya, in Nairobi, Kenya. And we are waiting for 27th of this very month to celebrate. These days have become, I don't know, I'm going to look for a word to use, to qualify the significance of these very days in our lifetime. Owing to the development, the trial court on June 29, 2021 remanded him in custody of DSS, where he has remained to date, which is also another crime of his own. On April 8, 2022, the court struck out 8 out of 15 count charges that federal government preferred against him on the premise that they lack substance. Likewise, The Abuja Division of the Court of Appeal on October 13, 2022, ordered Kanu's immediate release from detention, even as it quashed the charge against him. Dissatisfied with the decision, federal government led by Fulani oligarchy, remember that, took the matter before the Supreme Court, even as it persuaded the appellate court to suspend the execution of the judgment pending the determination of its appeal. Meanwhile, deciding the appeal, the Supreme Court on December 15, 2023, vacated the judgment of the appellate court and gave federal government the nod to try the IPOB leader on the subsisting 7-count charge. You see, that is where the problem is today, because of injustice and the neglect or disobedience of court rules and orders. That's why the zoo is shaking and quaking today. So my people, Nnamdi Kanu has made it known to the judge and to the entire world that he is innocent and has no case to answer. So we are waiting on the 18th day of July, 18th day of July 2025, the day that we are going to see what Justice James Omotosho will do on this very matter. If Nnamdi Kanu will be released, discharged, and acquitted on that very day, we shall see. If Justice James Omotosho does anything contrary to that, then we begin to talk. We begin to have conversations. From then, should we begin to have conversations. But for now, let us see how it all going to happen. Thank you, my people. To salu numozia and make it go viral.